Hello, everyone. Today, I present to you the most underrated fighters in the UFC today. And I'm not talking about Bilal Muhammad because forget about him. I'm talking about guys who are genuinely underrated, might even be outside of the rankings that no one is talking about at all. My cat wanted to say hello to us real quick, but these four fighters in this video today are fighters that nobody really gives too much respect to. They don't really acknowledge them as being a future contender or a contender in their own division outright. So today, I'm going to put y'all onto these guys. If you don't know them, now you know. And starting off with the guy that we kind of already know is that dude at bantamweight, but we're going to give him some respect again because I love this fighter. He's always been at the top of my list for the most dangerous matchups to Aljamain Sterling right now. I think if this guy fought Aljo, he would KO him in the first round or embarrass him without the 5-round fight, and that is my man, Song Yadong. Song Yading Dong, he is that dude at bantamweight. He is currently ranked, let me see his ranking real quick. He is currently ranked number 8 at bantamweight, but I think he is looking for a matchup now. I know that Rob Font pulled out to fight Corey Sandhagen, so right now he's kind of looking for an opponent. But I think he beats anybody in the top 10 right now. I think he beats, besides maybe a Petr Yan, I think he does beat, and Corey Sandhagen, obviously. I think he does beat a Henry Cejudo. I think he does beat a Chito Vera. I think he does beat maybe an O'Malley, but I think he is, maybe not O'Malley, but I think he beats a lot of these guys that are kind of ahead of him. And anybody behind him, he probably beats as well. I think he beats a Dominic Cruz, a Pedro Munoz, a Ricky Simone. Already beat him, a Martinez, and Inez, or Gutierrez. He beats all those guys definitely behind him. So there is nothing but future or nothing but up for our boy Song Yadong. And what makes him so good is that he is so young. I think he's 25 years old. I know he got robbed recently too. He definitely, I think he was at a gas station in San Francisco and he got robbed by somebody. But that is the only L Song Yadong can take right now. I think for the next 5 years is just that. I think he's so young. He's definitely improving. He trains at, I believe, Team Alpha Male, and he has some of the best takedown defense that I think we've ever seen, man. Like, he has some underrated takedown defense. Corey Sandhagen just held down Rob Font for 5 fucking rounds, and he couldn't hold down Song Yadong. Against Ricky Simone cannot do anything to Song Yadong. He has some of the best takedown defense at bantamweight, and he presents a real challenge to our fluker, to our actor, our Grammy Award winner, champion, and Aljamain Sterling. I love Aljo though, but it's fun to make fun of him sometimes. But he has that just bad stylistic matchup for Aljo, and he has some heat in his hands. He just hits hard. You see, when you watch a Song Yadong fight, you just see how hard this guy just throws punches, and he doesn't really tire that bad. Like, he doesn't have terrible cardio. Actually, I would say cardio would be in one of his strengths. He just throws with so much heat and such great technique, and that's kind of an issue sometimes because a guy like Corey Sandhagen can see it coming. But if he does land on you, it's going to be night-night. You're going to sleep. You're going out cold. It's gonna be over for you. So Song Yadong is definitely that guy. I think people aren't talking about him enough. Maybe he's the most interesting personality because he doesn't speak good English. He does speak Mandarin or Chinese, whatever language is in China. So people don't really acknowledge him as much as being a great guy. And his fights aren't the most exciting you're ever going to see, but they are great fights. But I think people need to acknowledge Song Yadong more as the contender that he is. Next up, we have a guy who's unranked but coming off a great win over Gram Kutateladze, and that is Elvis Brenner. People don't really kind of talk about him after he beat Gram. It's more about, oh, Gram is awful, Gram was overrated, Gram is not that guy at lightweight. But no one's talking about maybe Elvis Brenner is that guy at lightweight. Now, he comes out of shoot the box, trained with Oliveira. He was in his corner for the Gram fight. He has a great fight style. He's like I wouldn't say mini Oliveira because they're the same weight, but he's like another version, maybe a Walmart off-brand version of Oliveira at lightweight. And he's a crazy fight style, and he is tough. Tough as nails. Everybody at shoot the box is tough. They fight with immense pressure, and they come just straight after you. No holds barred matchup, WWE style. They're going to go in there and just put the pace on you, put the pressure on you, and break you. And Elvis Brenner has that fight style to do that. And to be honest, he was kind of losing the Garam fight, but he was able to come back in that third round and land the punch that he needed to. He was doing well, I believe, in the first round too. So like overall, Elvis Brenner is a well-rounded guy. Excuse me, he's a well-rounded fighter, and he can definitely, if he's beating Garam, he could definitely challenge some of these guys like a Sarukian, like a Gamrot, who kind of struggled or actually even lost to. I think Gamrot actually lost to Garam Kutateledze. He can challenge those guys at the top of lightweight. He's just not there yet because Garam, what's coming off of multiple injuries and whatever you want to say with Garam. But if he's beating Garam and killing him in the third round, what can he do to Gamrot? What can he do to a Sarukian or a Demir Ismagulov? Like, he is already a top ranked or future top ranked lightweight just by with his win over Garam. So we kind of have to put more respect on this man, and nobody's talking about him enough. I think because again, these guys don't speak English, and their fights are not boring, but they don't have that huge breakout fight like on the main card of the pay-per-view where everybody's like, holy shit, who is this guy? You know what I mean? Where all the casual fans are recognizing them now. Only us kind of hardcore fans know who Elvis Brenner is right now. So again, very underrated guy, trains out of shoot the box with Oliveira, very fun fight style, and he had a great win over Garam that I think puts him in the mix to be a top contender soon, maybe with a win over somebody else at lightweight. Moving on to a guy who I think is probably going to be top 5 at lightweight soon. Another lightweight guy that I'm bringing on here for these underrated fighters, but this guy can definitely be top 5 within the next year or two. And at first, we didn't think he was that good, but after his recent fight with Demir Ismagulov, Grant Dawson, that's who it is, Grant Dawson, has been looking like he's an elite lightweight in that he might take over once some of these old guys like a Poirier or a Gaethje or an Oliveira, even an Islam, ends up leaving. You know what I mean? This guy will be the next guy to fill in that role as the next top lightweight guy, I think, down the line. He made Demir Ismagulov look like he wasn't even anything, like he was straight up dog shit. He's super under the radar. I don't hear many people talking about him. You know what I mean? Like, this guy he just beat up Demir, who's a great win. His back takes are absolutely phenomenal. This guy can not even take you down, but somehow find a way to your back and just hook in the body triangle just like that. Not even an issue. And that is so valuable at some of these lower weight classes. And these lightweight classes, getting the back and putting the body triangle in can be more valuable than having just great striking. You know what I mean? And having a background. Just being able to get somebody down, not even get somebody down, but being able to just take their back quickly and really take advantage of scrambles. Just being educated with your back takes will make you, it can take you far. It can take you so far in a sport. And I know Grant Dawson, maybe his striking isn't the most elite you're ever going to see. But again, some of these guys at the top of lightweight don't have the best striking, Islam is a great striker, I think. I think you can kind of put him in that category. But is his striking the best you've ever seen? No, he has great counter striking. He got KO trying to strike at one point at lightweight. You know what I mean? So you don't need this super omega, super elite striking. You just need enough to get by. And I think maybe not Islam has enough to get by. That might be too far or might be too big of an insult. But Islam has great enough counter striking to where he can punish people for it, right? And I think at lightweight, a guy like Grant Dawson, if he can develop that game more to where he can just punish people for trying to strike with him or thinking that he has no striking on the feet, he'll be a champion. He'll be a champion. If Grant Dawson can punish people for thinking that he has no striking and trying to, only strike with him and not take him seriously, then eventually he will be a champion. I'm pretty confident about that. But overall, I think he is one of the best prospects, most underrated guys that's ranked at lightweight right now. He just is him. I think he just is him. I don't even like him that much. Not even one of my top favorite fighters, but he has the potential to be a future champion if he keeps looking like this in his future matchups. Moving on up next to a guy who I think is actually the most underrated guy in the UFC right now. He has some of the best wins outside the rankings at middleweight, and nobody is really even talking about this guy. I'm going to give you the names. I'm only going to give you the names are the last names of his opponents that he's fought in the UFC. He fought a guy named Omar Gadziev, Petrosian, that's an Armenian guy, Muradov, Oleg Zaychuk. This guy is only fighting Eastern Europeans, and he's somehow winning every fight by out-grappling them. It's actually crazy. And the guy is Caio Borralho. This guy is insane. Caio Borralho is actually insane, bro. And nobody's giving this man any respect. He's taking only the most worst matchups. If you hear a guy whose last name ends in ov, you're like, oh shit, he's probably going to win. But no, Borralho out-grapples them. He beats them up and puts them down and submits them or wins by unanimous decision. This guy is unbelievably good. I know he had some kind of iffy performances, like against Mikhail Oleksiejczuk. You know, he was kind of losing that first round, then came in the second round, and this guy takedown and submitted him. But being able to do that against some of these guys who I think are really tough matchups at middleweight, these guys are actually like good. Armen Petrosian is a really underrated win. This guy just beat a hyped up Christian Leroy Duncan on the feet. Petrosian is a great, I think a future ranked fighter at middleweight. I know he's lost to a grappler. I know he has his issues in the grappling, but striking wise, Petrosian is no joke, absolutely no joke. And for Caio Borralho to go in there and just pretty much out grapple him for 3 rounds, no problem, no issues, speaks volumes. Speaks massive volumes. This guy, in my opinion, has not taken a single easy matchup. He has only fought demons at middleweight. There is no sugarcoating it. He's not no Paddy Pimblett who's going in there and fighting a Jared Gordon and fighting a Luigi Vendramini or a guy who just is on his way out of the UFC. This guy is fighting absolute top guys who have potential of their own, and he is dismantling them. He is beating them, and he is winning. We just saw Makhmud Muradov just pretty much put on a clinic against Brian Barberena, who again is a fat middleweight at this point, let's be honest. But he is not no scrub. He's not no bum. I know he lost to Gerald Meerschaert as well, but he is not no bottom of the barrel middleweight. He is a decent middleweight with some potential of his own, also a young guy. And Caio Borralho, he just turned 30 a few months ago, and back in January, he just turned 30. He's 14-1 in the UFC. This guy has a lot of potential behind him. You know, guys at middleweight can last a long time, and his grappling is already at an elite level. You know what I mean? You know, we see Cannonier still improving, and he's, 40 years old. We had Derek Brunson in the division for a long time, and he's like 40 years old, and he has no striking. He is terrible. I'm sorry. He is terrible. This guy, Caio Borralho, he's fighting Nursultan Ruziboev. Again, these guys only fighting guys who are Eastern European or Asian, and an Ev from the Caucasus region. He's only fighting guys whose names would sound like they would out-grapple you or kill you in the first round. He's fighting guys who are no joke. There is no easy win so far for this guy in the UFC, but he's made it look easy against guys who have good records. But I think I'll take him to beat Ruziboev. I think he's just that guy at middleweight. He should win, but those are my top 4 most underrated fighters / prospects, whatever you want to call it. Those are my top 4 favorite underrated prospects in the UFC right now. These guys deserve more respect. Put some respect on their names, please. But that's all I have for you guys today. Thank you guys for watching up to this point. If you agree or even disagree with me, leave a comment down below, and also hit that subscribe button and that bell icon as well for notifications. I would surely appreciate that. My top 4 most underrated fighters. Thank you guys for watching. I'm out of here. Peace.